We are celebrating over 200 subscribers now. So thank you for that. Hello and welcome. Artist Journal, October 19th, 2022. Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, artist reporter, and no, this is not a news program. Not a news program. This is a public journal. Maybe a salon. We're having that debate. We can figure that out. But yeah, by design, this is not a news channel, but you do see a lot of new stuff on here. That's how I frame it. So welcome back. Look at this beautiful head-turning work from Uxine. It was an easy decision today. Actually, it's never an easy decision. But look at this, retro computer, surveillance camera. Kind of looks like a play on these, speaking of salons, this seems like a play on a 19th century painting of sorts where, you see these kind of works about paintings often in like the Vatican or major art museums, often in like French, maybe the Louvre. This is kind of like the kind of work you would see in the Louvre. I'm not even sure if I could find that. Shall I take a risk here? 19th century salon paintings, Louvre. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, that was a close call. Okay, open image in new tab. Yeah, you see like these kind of works, except, and then here. Yeah, you see, they're discussing the work. These are classic. I mean, it's a whole kind of genre unto itself. So Uxine is playing with that whole style. He's really good at actually using the historical references and totally making them new. He plays, I feel like, with a lot of themes that Xcopy plays with, but really totally makes it his own, like completely his own. These broken JPEGs and frames, really creative guy. You see it across the board. I see a great future for Uxine over here. And look at this title too, Examination of an Ordinary 21st Century Portrait. So just super nice and interesting. Surveillance camera, I guess a retro computer, a skull, skeleton, and then just kind of a digital unhappy face. Now, I do question, though, how this was sold, because this was done as an edition on Ethereum, and generally editions on Ethereum, you can do it, people do it, and with success. But I just wonder, in terms of his own ability to raise funds, like I think if he made this a one of one, like he sold 20 of these, it sold out right away, 0.02 ETH, so he brings in 0.4 ETH. I think if you made this a one of one and put it for auction, I would think this could get like 4 or 5, 6 ETH potentially. Like if the social media, if it got enough stretch, like if it got enough kind of attention, I could see this going for like 15 grand. So yeah, but anyway, congratulations to him. It looks like it raised some good money anyway. And what a great work. More congratulations on the work more than anything. And a great title. So anyways, on we go. Thank you. We have now reached over 200 subscribers. So thank you for everybody and all the support. The tweets, the retweets have been really phenomenal. And they're probably the biggest bringer of subscribers here. So thank you for that, because that keeps me going as well and just keeps me excited. And just as bullish, before we move on, look at this. So yesterday's show, we're getting almost 100 views on the next day. So that, so I don't think that's all subscribers, because, YouTube spreads the video out a little bit too, but it's a pretty high ratio of subscribers to views. So that is very bullish. So again, thank you for all the support. And thank you to Ramza, who made a 10 Tezos offer on this work over here, Rowers in the River Urumea. That's if you're going to San Sebastian. I took this picture, actually. It's a photo drawing, helped with some AI. And yeah, this is on the way entering San Sebastian, which if you take away anything today, It is that San Sebastian is one of the greatest beach destinations in the world. As I put it here, the legendary home of legendary Spanish beaches. That is the coolest beach town I've ever been to. Do not tell your friends, okay? We have a nice small audience here, so that is why I share this information with you. Valuable information. So just a quick look at Turamza, because we missed his painting yesterday in the digital. So just a thank you to him for the offer. And you might remember him. We've covered him before with the Miles Davis and Cloakesy bizarre work. And this awesome still life here. And of course, this one, which I go back to over and over. And yeah, he put out another one, which was very mysterious. This mysterious, I mean, you guys probably know the references better than I do at this point. There's a Tezos metal ring and portrait of Sunvi, who is metameme. Like maybe that's someone on Twitter. Should probably look that up, but I can't look up everything. Again, this is a journal, so my reflections on everything. What I really like about it too is there's a work by the Isolationist. And who else? Maxwell Inked and Twisty. So there's just other works in here, and I love that. To me, that makes me bullish on the entire ecosystem when I see works about works in that ecosystem and just artists responding to artists and celebrating. To me, that's foundations for a strong culture. Runetune, responding to yesterday's very provocative question, which came to me on the fly here as I was doing this. It's kind of like art doing this program. You actually don't know what's going to come out, and sometimes it's much better than you would have thought, and you just can't plan these things sometimes. And this question, are artists the tools of AI, has really been lingering, and I think other people liked it too, because it got a lot of retweets there. And then so he linked to Marshall McLuhan. Runetune always has interesting comments. The medium is the message. And I thought that was, I have mixed feelings about McLuhan. First of all, I think Runetune's idea of referencing McLuhan is actually quite apropos. Because we were basically suggesting, is the AI is it dictating to a certain degree the kinds of works that are being made? And therefore, one step further, as we slowly, incrementally go on this AI discovery process, this intellectual journey to understand what's going on here, is the medium the message, as Runetune is pointing out here? So that is profound, I think, and because that seems to be what we're saying here. So another maybe little step forward is, and I'm very careful on how to discuss these things because we're talking about qualitative things, which are very hard to kind of get knowledge on. This isn't science where we're dealing with numbers. We're making qualitative judgments, so we have to go much slower. But when we go slower, we have a much stronger foundation to actually hopefully know what we're talking about here. Final thing on McLuhan. He was a James Joyce scholar. And I'm actually one of the most skeptical people you're ever going to meet about McLuhan. I think he was a James Joyce scholar, the famous modern novelist who wrote Ulysses. And like many of these critical theory, cultural theorists or literary theorists, they're often failed novelists. And sometimes they try and get their creativity out through their theory. And so if you watch actually a lot of McLuhan on YouTube, watch some, you tell me what you think. I found it profoundly disappointing. And you read the books and they're actually the hot and cool media. It's actually like, for someone that's read it as many times as I have, I still am like, what's hot and cool media again? So to me, that's a red flag. So again, he was a scholar of like Finnegan's Wake, which is James Joyce's very epic, kind of almost nonsensical, but not nonsensical novel. And I think he was just trying to be a James Joyce of theory. You see this a lot in the 60s. You could argue Derrida with deconstruction is just a guy who's trying to be a novelist, but using critical theory. You could argue with Baudrillard, Jean Baudrillard. I actually like Jean Baudrillard, but most of them are saying way too much and being, in my opinion, much too creative. instead of trying to kind of get to the truth. And I'm sure they would have many defenses for that, but that is my take. Moving on. Thank you for the comment. The medium is the message with AI art. Is that the case? Great question. So here's FX Hash at Art Basel in Paris. So it's a pretty nice booth, but you almost expected it to be bigger to a certain degree, but at the same time, it's very nice. I keep coming back to these TV screens, and I think these guys are just doing the best they can. I mean, this is tricky technology to display these things. I think you need a projector that works but I mean, how do you set up a projector there? So it's not easy. In the future, I think walls are going to be made of screens. So we're not going to have all this hanging stuff on the walls. We're going to be able to change the wallpaper every day. And I think walls will be screens. The wallpaper will be a screen. I think that's what's coming. And we're not going to have to worry about any of this. And the art can be whatever ratio it needs to be. And we'll look at pictures like this, like we look at pictures of the 1930s, whatever, cars in the 1920s and 30s. But anyway, so here it is. State-of-the-art, a generative art exhibition presented by FX Hash and Tezos featuring our live minting experience and curation by Tender Art is nearly live at Paris Plus. So congratulations to them and to the artists who are included. Ed Marola makes Object.com's front page as well. Feeling fancy at Daily Curation Object.com tab. So congratulations to him. Brave is also up there too. There's Rada, so congratulations to all. Speaking of Object, there has been this kind of notification issue. So Haiti is basically fed up, and he put out this tweet last night. Hey people, how goes? No worries. There will be 6 more gifts to 99 in one collection. Then I'm done with Object. So no more Object notifications forever. Have a good one. So, Object kind of needs to get their notifications in order. I don't think it's just Haiti. I think he's worried that it's just him for some reason. But Daniel W., I don't get the notifications for him either. He's been putting out monsters. I double-checked, as we're going to see, I double-checked that I followed him. I don't get his notifications either. So I'm not getting all the notifications of the artists. So Object needs to fix its platform because they're going to keep losing top-tier artists, okay, and all just artists in general. I mean, Haiti is one of the few people that can survive off of this, I think. And his kind of, he works so hard over a decade, and puts out all the work, finally does it all, and then the platform doesn't show its notifications. So Object should really fix that. And this is just another lesson that you should be diversifying where you put your art. I'm multi-chain. So if this happens to me on Object, I go, okay, I still have, super rare or Ethereum, where maybe you need a foundation, whatever. To me, it's just another case for diversification because you can't put all your eggs in one basket, unfortunately. So that's a real cry and shame here. Haiti put this out yesterday. I was following I put notifications on his Twitter, because I like his work a lot, and you don't have much time. So I was able actually to snag this. I was the first one. And yeah, you see one other person got it, Green Cross. So I got it after 4 minutes. He was probably wondering how I figured it out. It's because I was following his Twitter. And so anyways, another very low edition. I'm excited about these low editions of Haiti's work. Sabato had just an interesting tweet about how strong Tezos is doing. When I say the community of artists and collectors on Tezos is what keeps this scene going, it's not just aspirational hot air, but real numbers. Considering how NFT markets on other chains have tanked in the bear market, it's really amazing what we have going on here. And he linked to this other tweet of NFT sales volume. And we see here, divided by quarters, how Tezos continues to grow, and year on year, it is up 42%. That is very strong growth. So very impressive, especially we're in a bear market here. So interesting. Art News, one of the premier, if not the premier art publication, they had this interesting write-up on AI that I thought we should look at. And don't worry, there's a ton of art in this episode, guys. But this is what I wanted to highlight, because we've been discussing AI, and they had this headline, Rage Against the Machine. Have you had enough of AI-generated art? Well, so have some artists. Business Insider took a deep dive into the case of artists who claim that their work is being copied by AI generators. So, AI image generators. So, this is actually what I wanted to highlight, because we'll go to the article briefly. But it's kind of like, have you had enough of AI-generated art? Just the tone, to me, is kind of the problem with some media today, and you see it in the art media as well, which is, well, clearly the writer here has had enough of AI-generated art. And, is this an opinion piece? No, I thought they were supposed to be giving us the news. So I don't think this person has bad intentions at the same time. You know what I think this is? This is news written by a copywriter. And for those that don't know, a copywriter is someone that writes advertising for ad agencies. That is what a copywriter is. So that's what this looks like to me. It's like, this is your hook. It's not delivering the news. So just too much opinion in there for me, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, are you trying to form opinions here? And look, it's here again. Artists said they're fed up with AI image generators. I mean, it's, so here is the article. Business Insider, artists say AI image generators are copying their style to make thousands of new images, and it's completely out of their control. And I'm just going to read these top points. You guys can read the article. OpenAI, a company founded by Elon Musk, just made its DALL-E image generator open to the public. Artists say they work for years on their portfolios, and people can now make copycat images in seconds. But some AI companies argue that new artworks are unique and can be copyrighted. So you can just see the debate here that's going on. This seems pretty fair-minded, by the way. And they just kind of focus on this artist here, Greg Rutkowski. And a lot of people are putting his name into the AI image generator and coming up with other works. See, so this is his work here, Dragon Cage. And then images created when Insider typed "Dragon Battle with a Man at Night" in the style of Greg Rutkowski. And then so people are putting these kind of prompts in, and they're getting kind of similar work. I mean, this is kind of impressive. So you see this issue here. I think it's all just got to be let go. It's like keeping this copyright thing is getting harder and harder to hold on to. I understand it as an artist. Like, I don't want my works to be ripped off, and like my style to just be used and then sold. I mean, you slave away for years to make these small breakthroughs, and then someone just kind of runs away and takes your style. So I understand the debate, but I think for now we just let it go and then see what happens. But anyways, just wanted to point your attention to that article in Business Insider. So Dan Control, window for the interior, new owner, DeFi Ape, and this was sold for how much? Let's just quickly look. Foundation, and this sold for 0.1 ETH. So congratulations to Dan Control, who continues to make waves out there. And here's a oil painting. So not only am I a big fan of being cross-chain, multi-chain, I'm a big fan of being multi-medium. Okay, and so here Dan is working on an oil painting, quite a nice one at that. So yeah, like this is kind of where it's at. My tagline on my object is traveling through the mediums. Like I'm a big believer in not just sort of sequestering yourself to one thing, one medium and one style and try experiment a lot and then make series, then do 20, do iterations, 30 different versions of a certain idea or process. Morlakos waiting at the airport. Morlakos has been drawing like crazy. At least that's what he's been tweeting, and I think it shows. It's really showing here. It's looking good. So waiting at the airport, very nice. Yuri J, this looks promising too, another work in progress. Love just this modern imagery. This almost looks like asemic writing interestingly. And I'm a big fan also of just kind of music gear around the computer. Love the keyboard, a lot of great stuff going on. So Yuri J is on a roll. And another work in progress from Michael Micasso, mech.txt, wonderful color here, which is why I wanted to highlight it. Shedding bits of my idle time for more color studies, more volume experiments. Love the color here. So he's working very hard as well. You can see it. And finally, on this front, Stop It by Ezra Eslin has been sold for 1 ETH. Or sorry, has been sold for 1 ETH on secondary. Okay, and now it's for 420. So that was a work we just looked at the other day. So I thought, oh, let's return to it. So 1 ETH, pretty respectable. So more cross-chain art business. This is a really interesting work that kind of stood out to me. It just screamed Adelia, right? So you see, this is almost like a whole genre unto itself, this kind of, like, I mean, even here, I mean, it's right out of that same kind of idea, the colors, but totally different at the same time. You don't have the character, and there's, waterfall here. So just a different kind of work. This was on Foundation, sold for 1.75 ETH. So a very nice price. The artist is Ardhira Putra, okay? So just kind of interesting here. And this was an Adelia that I also missed because I believe she turned off her notifications for her Discord. So you see this notification trend is just kind of increasingly problematic for me, at least. Let's see if is there music? No. So just an interesting work from Adelia, beautiful. This is almost like 3 works in one. Now, look at how cheap this went for, by the way. There was a auction, it ended up selling for 150 to Snow. I think there was a small bidding war, but not really. I mean, this went for really cheap for an Adelia 1 of 1. These have sold for 1,000 before. Here's another one that just came out that I also missed, Soundsation Day version. And this was just sent, I think, to previous collectors and probably of a certain work. So just kind of fun. Generally, when she sends out the free ones, she doesn't animate it. But it's also nice to have still ones too. So I remember this one. So a couple of works we missed. Evil Machine has also put out a new, just kind of interesting work. Kind of, you could almost put it in the same room as that Adelia that was moving, and maybe not, but you could. I think you could actually, just kind of like this animated, illustrative work. So just kind of a cool work for 2 Tezos from Evil Machine, and has this new series that I'm trying to wrap my head around. I don't think it's effects hash, but you see a lot of similarity between the different ones. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but interesting. And Daniel W. has a new monster, one of my favorites. I picked this one up. And this is Olgoy Korkoy, the Weird and the Terrifying, a Mongolian death worm. So this is out of Mongolia. So I'm really enjoying this series. Again, I like the internationalism that's in it too. The world kind of needs this sort of stuff right now. In a sense, what we're doing here, this digital art thing that's international, is I find it's the artist's response to basically larger issues going on in the world right now. This is our international response, and there's a lot of, here's artists celebrating other cultures. It's more a message of unity underlying everything than division. The Talk Night Show, episode 2 trailer. So Kurt Hustle Collective with a new trailer. Here we have volume. Huge fan of Kurt Hustle Collective. And you see the old retro TV screens at the bottom. Classic. I mean, it's almost like it really is a trailer like you'd see at a movie theater. The Weather and More coming soon. So I just love their work. Yeah. I mean, this could play in a movie theater. And there was another one, the Kurt Pot. Kurt Hustle Casino presents Kurt Pot, a slot machine in the cyber slums. So for only a Tezos, edition of 50, sometimes it's good to pick these works up also because he'll send sometimes, not always, but sometimes he'll send a work as a result of you buying a previous work. So slot machine seems to be a clue to me, but who knows? No promises and no inside info from me on that one. This also kind of seems to really fit. Again, this could go in the same room. Let's just see. This is Pastele, whose work we've been looking at. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll play some of it. Kind of in a similar spirit, but different. Very contemporary art sort of feel. This could easily be in a gallery and totally look like in place. Nice music. So I can't play the whole thing. It's 3 minutes, and these videos are too long. I'm working on how to shorten them. Video footage of a vintage Philips TV playing The Office Woman DVD Deluxe, made for the installation at the exhibition at Kaleido 2021, filmed by Josephine Johnson. So we've been seeing Josephine Johnson's work here. Remember the awesome teacup and this one with the great audio. So another just interesting work from Pastele. This is also an interesting work. Check. Kind of has a fashion feel to it. Again, not sure who this is. Buy for $5, still available. But again, this is the sort of thing I'd almost expect in a kind of fashion house, on the wall, a screen or something or other. Kind of screams fashion to me. It'll be interesting to watch that crossover, how much the fashion industry gets into this, if at all. But again, I've seen a creative director from, I think, Gucci. We saw that other guy whose name I can't remember right now. The guy, of course, the one-bit necro seems to have a foot in the door. So here is, I think this is Board Me Social Club with trademark words under the eyelids and just kind of dark Board Me Social Club with the wrestler mask drooling. So what is business as usual by Board Me Social Club. So this sold out, I think, right away. Minted at midnight, Berlin time, and gone within 20 minutes. Yahweh bought 3 though, and now is trying to flip for 30. So you're gonna have to put an offer in on that one. Here's another interesting one from Native Ed. As we scan the digital landscape here, very just kind of interesting, kind of taking it to the next level. He's part of the genre I consider animated abstract, and he added some running figures to the mix, so just kind of interesting. Buy for 3 Tezos, edition of 20, 9 left, so it is selling. Stalka, I'm a big fan of Stalka. It's what I'd call contemporary illustration, and why I like this piece and why I like her work in general is it's, again, contemporary, so concerns of a contemporary individual. So, young woman here playing guitar. She's in a band. It's almost one of these character figures. Again, a watch, but it's like a retro watch. This is like all the apparel and things she would be carrying as she goes on her day. A book in the bag. Paper Human, second edition to the Humans collection. First-year college student, had weekend part-time as a bartender. Yeah, like that's exactly what this looks like. So again, I'm a big fan of this work. Again, just like an art of the present, as I always like to say here. So just a date with a modern date, just something simple. So continuing on, Lavon, his Incognito 7 went for 185 ecstasy. I believe it went to Purple Drank. So this is the latest monster, probably from a movie. Again, it went to Purple Drank, probably from a movie that I don't know I don't know Donnie Darko. I was calling it Johnny Darko in my head. Also, Purple Drank, by the way, in passing, is doing a whole bunch of one-of-ones of people who are in the Drunk DAO, I believe, is what's going on there. So you can check that out. Continuing on, Bazaya, Playa Rosa, the latest in the botanical art, what is it, Floral Flow, in the Floral Flow collection. So he's huge on details here. So, we could spend all day looking at this one. You see a Gucci, I guess, perfume bottle here or something. We have a shark, an octopus, a purple skull, and, a fish. So all sorts of interesting stuff. Kind of looks like it's underwater, doesn't it? I always say you always have to look twice at Bazaya's work. So this sold out right away. If you follow your path west through the Pradera Rosa, you will come across this monument, god, patron saint. It is the entrance to Playa Rosa, a place where the fauna and flora tend to be a little pink like everything else in these landscapes. So just another cool work. This was done on offer. So, so it went for basically around 30 and now is selling for 1,200. So that's pretty cool. I missed this one, but thanks to Padrino, I saw it, and Padrino has been a big supporter of the program, and he has what he puts his Tuesday Tezos drop, so give him a follow, because he posts a bunch of his favorite works. I missed this one, and I saw it a couple of times, and I was like, oh yeah, this should be, it's one of those ones, I looked at it the first time, didn't think too much, and then I kept coming back, and was actually pretty impressed. Jam, with a very surreal kind of work. Flowers coming out of a McDonald's cup, two opposite realities in a new context, and then done with this oil painting style. And was selling for 5, and now there are 30 left for 10. So a pretty popular work. It's selling well. Here's some of Jam's other work. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. And it is mysterious work. Because I wish there was a little bit more information. I can't tell if this is a digital painting or not. Because if this is a digital painting, these could actually be selling for a lot more. Because that style, we keep our biases of oil paintings. So if that's what this is, a digital painting of a Game Boy, you could probably be getting more money for it, Jam. With a little more info. This is something I saw on Known Origin. Just another kind of interesting work. It kind of has, who is it? Almost a Juan Miro sort of look to it. Let's see if we can, look at that. So a pretty impressive work. Yeah, this looks like early Juan Miro. It looks like Joan Miro is the pronunciation, but you call it Juan, from my understanding. There seems to be a big influence there. All around artsy is the artist. Emotion Erosion. Buy now for $39, 0.03 ETH, edition of 10. So if you're looking to increase your ETH collection, you can do that here. And this sold Still Life with Lemons, 1 of 30 sold for 0.25. So I thought it was just kind of an interesting work. It's got some audio. Just thought it was interesting. Kind of went with the black and white theme. Maybe also you could put it in the same room. Continuing on, and one more piece before we get to AI. This had a really nice sale. The super rare bot crossed my desk, crossed my screen here, sold to the Metropolitan Fund for $4,000, 3.1 ETH. So very interesting. And the artist here is Tormius. So so based on geometry, shapes, and colors. So nice work. So congratulations to them on the sale. Now we're going to AI here as we wrap up. ClownVamp had a very interesting comment, a technique, which I want to share here. One of my favorite AI prompting tricks is to remember these are models of attention. So if there's something you want to be more realistic, more aesthetic, give it more attention in your prompt. Describe a person's eyes, lips, forehead, and so on. Be verbose. So more is more when it comes to AI is ClownVamp's tip here. Use a lot of words if you're trying to get, as a trick, use a lot of words. So interesting. Javier Tomeo with new work that continues to turn my head here. So what is this called? Falling Sky. Again, these kind of surreal landscapes here. Another one, Red Marquee. I mean, this is beautiful. Kind of also reminiscent of that Japanese kind of screen work that you might see, super detailed, but done with like colorful oil painting instead. So Red Marquee here, another nice work. And How Far the Moon. So this is a little different with its kind of, the moon is just kind of put in here, kind of a weird sky. You don't often see that kind of just border, strong border here in Javier Tomeo's work. So just kind of interesting experimentation. And here's Indie Dodo. So remember we were mentioning them yesterday in reference to using a lot of circles. Great title here, The Dying Algorithm. And it looks like a Twitter bird actually is what's going on here. So half abstract and half representative, and seems to be using AI. And another AI work by Mother Louisiane, who we've touched on in the past as well. Again, seems to be playing a bit more with abstraction. So just kind of interesting. And someone we came across very early on, Poritz.tez, Lush Temples Ars Ex Naturae by Zancan is actually who this is. And I could see these selling as posters, especially in somewhere like Athens. I could see these selling really well. So that is by Zancan. I believe it's AI, but I'm actually not sure. It might not be. And finally, a physical work, which I'm enjoying putting at the end of these now. Masterful ballpoint pen drawing by artist Adewale Mayowa. So this is a ballpoint pen drawing. Very impressive. Love the Rubik's Cube reference, if that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it is, because those are the colors. Anyway, thank you for watching today's episode. Until next time, take care.